questions. They're a little bit personal, but I think that it will be very helpful to the listener and to all of us. And this borders on purity, sexual purity. So the person is saying that she's a married woman and she has sinned. She has slept with another man who is also married. She has repented, but she's overwhelmed with guilt and fear. She's asking if she will be forgiven. She's saying that is there hope for restoration and healing for her soul and for her marriage. She's asking what steps she should take in order to receive God's forgiveness, to regain peace and rebuild her life. Thank you.
The marriage institution is a blood covenant. There are 5 types of covenants in the Bible, and each one is unique. But the marriage covenant is a blood covenant, and the validity of a blood covenant is from life to death. Under the old covenant, if someone commits adultery, the person should be stoned to death. In the new covenant, if someone commits adultery, it is one of the grounds upon which marriage can be nullified. Because even though there is no scripture that says we should stone the offenders to death, the New Testament position is still an assumption. They assume. There's an assumption, okay? After the act, there's an assumption that the offenders were stoned to death. That's why the person that did not commit the adultery cannot remarry, because the ground of the blood covenant has been violated. Do you understand that? And so there is no way that woman can find legitimate peace if she doesn't seek the husband's forgiveness. But we must counsel her not to go straight to the husband. She should labor before the Lord and receive God's commitment in superintending the entire process of accountability. Once the Lord steps in, the Lord can manipulate the heart of the husband to achieve forgiveness. But as long as the woman does not seek forgiveness from her husband, she will live with that guilt. The guilt is a sign of her vulnerability in the spirit on the account of that which has taken place. So we advise that she goes to the Lord, seek his involvement and commitment, and ultimately approach the husband, because she is into a blood covenant with the husband. If the husband forgives her, which is most likely going to be the case if the Lord is involved, she will now also redeem her position and her conscience will become clear.
Wow, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. My brother is saying he's a pastor. His wife says that she regrets marrying him. His question is, should he divorce her? He's listening to the voice of his wife instead of the voice of God. Apostle, please speak to us.
Before I touch on that, if you permit me to just add a little to what my brother said. In administering the needful in the life of disciples so that they can conform to the image of Christ, you must know that you are either dealing with a Judas or a Peter. The Judas cannot be redeemed because the problem with the Judas is heart-based. the Peter can be redeemed because his problem is head-based. He doesn't understand. But Judas has a heart problem. Most people with heart problems, may the Lord give you understanding. So concerning dealing with disciples and laboring to ensure that each one of them meets the standard of what a minister should be is very difficult. Because many of these disciples really don't want to serve Jesus. They just want to take advantage of the cloud in the atmosphere to project themselves. So you might be trying to stop the person from going that way so that the person can go through the process and grow into maturity. And the person may not want it. So you are not likely to have 100 over 100 in this matter. You might have, if you have 70, you are a master. But there are some Judases that all of your efforts will not change their course. Okay? Find out, am I dealing with Peter or Judas? Concerning that brother, especially if we want to believe that the brother had God before he married her.
Yes, we believe so. We strongly believe so.
The reason why we involve God before we take ministry, marriage decisions is because there will be problems. And if God was involved in the decision-making process, you can go back to God to help you solve it. And he will oblige you because you gave him the honor to allow him make his input. So, on the assumption that the brother had God before he married the sister, then he needs to go back to the Lord and involve him in the solution.
Thank you.
That's what I would say.
Yes, please. Thank you so much, Apostle. Some pastors are saying that their head pastor has been caught in sexual immorality. The evidence is clear. It is very obvious what is happening. Nobody is talking about it. They are all in the church. What should they do as you conclude this session? After that, there are no more questions. Thank you.
If the head pastor that was caught in immorality with evidences is trying to deny what has happened and he doesn't show any evidence of brokenness, I advise you to take your leave. Wait. Let me explain. That's not an activist position, as you may think. The thing about ministry is like transmission. What you are ministering is not what you are saying. What you are ministering is not what you are singing. What you are ministering is your essence. Now, if you want, I can give you a scripture for that. He said, the Spirit entered into me when he spake to me. So he was speaking something, but his essence entered into the person. Now, the guy that is into immorality, that's what he's transmitting. He may not be preaching immorality from the pulpit, but that immorality is what he's transmitting. And everybody under that ministry will become enhanced in the ways of immorality. It's an enhancement. I don't know. Once upon a time, a certain minister that was into immorality felt that a certain guy had stood with him. He gave him one of his suits. And when that guy started, we wore that suit happily. And he married as a virgin. The day he wore that suit was the first time he slept with another woman. And then when He cried to some of his colleagues that he was ESCO members with on campus in ministry. And when they started tracing prophetically, they found a suit in the spirit. And then he now told them the reality in the natural. And he mentioned the name of the person that gave him. So he had his essence, part of his essence was retained in that piece of cloth that he gave to the young man. So ministry is, well, may the Lord give you understanding.